Hello, my friends. Welcome to episode 6 of Let's Talk Soul to Soul. Just jumping on a little bit early, opening the doors, welcoming you into my heart, my home, into this space, this sacred space we're creating for each other. Wonderful. And as you're joining, please feel free to drop your name or where you're from in the chat box or the chat area. And we will look forward to welcoming our very special guest, Mandy, who will be joining us soon. Actually, Mandy is not far from me physically. We both live in Banff, which is so cool. Wonderful. I want you to get cozy. This is going to be another amazing episode. Grab yourself a hot drink or cold one. I've got my warm water with a splash of lemon. I think Mandy would be proud of me for this drink choice. So get nice and cozy and settle in to this episode 6. It's unbelievable. It's the amazing things that happen, you know, when you step out of your comfort zone and you do the thing. You do the thing that's been placed on your heart. Yeah. And it's amazing, these trail angels that come across our paths, right? When we're doing the thing and maybe we're feeling a little low, we're running out of fuel. We need that little spark of inspiration to keep going, or to open a new door, a possibility. Yeah, and that's what Mandy is for me. One of those people. I'm so blessed. Awesome. So we'll just wait a few minutes here we really do need to wait for Mandy. And I'm sure that she will join us just as soon as she can. And please, if you do have any comments, questions that come up, feel free to add them into the comment section. This is all, a new way of communicating, a new way of connecting. But it is a way, right? So sometimes we have to be willing to see things differently, do things differently. The most important thing, I think, is just staying true to who you are, who I am, and letting that spirit move us. Awesome, fantastic. And I see that Mandy has joined us. Amazing. And now the next step is to get her on her face so that you can actually see Mandy. Awesome. There we go. I think we're getting good at this. All beginnings are difficult. Yes.
Hi.
Andy, welcome.
Can you hear me?
Totally.
Perfect.
How about me? Am I clear?
Absolutely.
Oh, so awesome, Mandy. Thank you so much for making time today. I know you've had a lot on the go.
Thank you for doing this with me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, Mandy, I'm super, super stoked. We're just waiting for a few more minutes as people are joining, and I'm inviting our guests who are joining us virtually to please feel free to add a comment, your name, where you're from. If anything comes up during this time, you're welcome to share in the comments or using those little emojis or whatever those things are called. We want this to be as interactive as possible. And you know, Mandy, I was just reflecting, you know, this is episode 6 of Let's Talk Soul to Soul.
6 already, wow.
I know. And you are one of the big reasons why I'm even on Instagram, Mandy. Seriously.
I take that credit.
No, but you sharing it. You really do. You sparked something in me, and I'll share a little more about that in a moment. I'm just going to wait to see if there's anyone else interested or able to join. And you know, the wonderful thing is, I know how to like save this and send it out so people can watch.
Oh, good.
Later on.
Yeah, I'm not the best with these lives. I know sometimes I've done them and then I've had a hard time like either sharing it for somebody else to send out, or like I can share it to my own, but yeah, like figuring all that out sometimes is beyond me.
And that's okay. You know what? You can't be the master of everything.
Yeah.
And I will add you as a collaborator, Mandy, so you'll be able to share this, use parts or whatever you wish.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Well, I'm mindful of everyone's time, and so just taking this moment to settle in wherever you are, get nice and cozy if you're somewhere a little fresh like us in Banff, where both of us are, Mandy. Amazing. We happen to not be that far physically. And just really settle into this time. You know, Let's Talk Soul to Soul was born out of my desire to connect, and spark possibilities for soul to shine. Because within each of us, my friends, there is such a light. There are so many gifts just waiting to be revealed. And may this time remind you of that as we tap into the energy of my dear, cherished friend, soul sister, Mandy, who's joining us today. And breathing in this energy. This is what the energy of living true and living free feels like for me. It's an honor to share it with all of you. Thank you for being here, Mandy. So I really want everyone to know that, you know, Mandy, we go back a long way to some of my first memories of being in Banff. And when I'd be working out at the Banff Springs, there you would be working out. Just, you know, always so encouraging, just so present. And there was just this calmness about you, this gentleness, this warmth. And I remember even during the days when you were pregnant, I always just admired you. And then our paths would cross on the bike trails. You'd be on your mountain bike or hiking, visiting our old friend Tunnel Mountain. And there was a connection. I didn't realize the depth of it until the last few years. And in April of 2023, when I was really struggling with how am I going to find my place here again, I don't belong. I don't feel like I belong. What am I going to do with all this in me that doesn't have channels anymore for expression? And you sparked something in me. You connected me to Carla and the Sovereign CEO. And that kind of began this new chapter. And so I thank you. I really honor that gift you gave me. And Mandy, it is a joy for me to have you here to share your gifts with others and what you're sparking in women, girls, moms, daughters, for me is so exciting. So I know, your background with, holistic nutrition, registered massage therapist, you do tapping, but you are walking the talk of living free. You are walking the talk of living with authenticity. And what you're learning, Mandy, your gift is the way you'll be able to express that. And so I feel this in you with your new mission to empower your mission to empower women and girls with intergenerational uh, knowledge, wisdom, and our feminine superpowers. So, tell us a little bit more about you, Mandy, please.
Well, thank you for all of that, Annalisa, and yeah, and sharing what I shared with you on Tunnel that day about, Sovereign CEO, which I was a part of at that time, and the MYM community. Well, that was just because that's what I needed at that time as well. And yeah, I was also feeling like I didn't belong here anymore, and I didn't belong. I didn't know. I didn't know what my next steps were going to be. So I wanted to share that with you because I felt like you were kind of you were in the same place, right? As far as needing that connection a little bit more and just needing that outlet. So yeah, but yeah, as far as what I am doing now, like you said, yeah, I'm a massage therapist. I've been working as a therapist for it's been 22 years now, and um, not too far after that, I became a holistic nutritionist. And it was just really in the last, I would say, maybe like 5 years ish. I've been, kind of narrowing it down. Like my journey all began with like gut and hormone issues. So I was kind of narrowing it down to that. But what's really come through in the last little while is cycle awareness and cyclical living, nutrition for cycle health, because that was really, I suffered with excruciating periods when I was young, and all the things that went with it. So, the acne, like being doubled over in pain every month, having to take days off school, um, all of the things that went along with it, really, the poor digestion. So, yeah, and I just don't want girls to suffer with that. But there's this disconnect when we're being taught about our bodies. So, which is it's really a shame because I know, like, I have a 14-year-old daughter who's recently kind of gone through those stages in school, and there's not much that they are taught, and there's also a lot of moms that don't really know how to approach that or even know themselves because we were never taught. So there's just this gap between mothers not knowing and daughters not knowing. So this beautiful cyclical nature that we have was just kind of, it's almost like something that we've dropped in society. Well, we definitely have dropped in society because we're really working on that very male 24-hour circadian rhythm. But we also have this other rhythm as women, and whether you're cycling right now or not, like even if you're not if you've just had a baby and you're not cycling, or if you're postmenopausal, we are still cyclical beings as women. We really have this beautiful alignment with nature, with the seasons, with the moons, and our bodies have this freaking amazing wisdom that has kind of been, again, neglected. And a lot of us have not learned about. Like, I don't remember learning that I had different phases in my cycle until like probably I was in my 30s when I learned that. Maybe,
Yeah.
yeah, like I was probably like into perimenopause by the time I learned that.
Mhm.
Again, like if girls can learn this when they're preteens or teens and know that, oh, like that's why I don't feel the same every day of the month, because you're not supposed to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you can honor that, and like you have these different strengths that come up at different times. And
Mm.
yeah, so I really, that's really become a passion to
Yeah,
teach girls, but also to teach, to help with moms too, because a lot of moms, especially moms who have girls who are kind of in that phase of life, a
yeah,
lot of us are in that menopause stage. So we're doing this in reverse.
right.
Yeah. So just being able to create that connection and understand each other and empower the moms to just to be able to teach their daughters a little bit more too, and to know, yeah, just to be able to share that knowledge. And then it just becomes, like you said, that intergenerational knowledge. So it's just second nature then for, like, my daughter, if she decides to have kids when she gets older, it's just going to be automatic for her to teach her
Mhm.
daughters, if she has daughters, about this, because it's just sort of will be so ingrained in her being
Mhm.
that it's just it's just going to kind of create a ripple effect.
Yeah. Oh, I love that, Mandy. And these are the conversations, these really they're soul to soul conversations of really about things that matter, that have been maybe kind of taboo depending on how you grew up. I mean, I grew up in an Italian family, and you just kind of, okay, here's what you need. It wasn't a discussion really. Here are the pads. This is how you use them. Basic, basic. And I remember my first memory of a tampon. I'm going to share this with you. I'm going to share this with you,
Yes.
okay? Because it came. I was thinking about this. My dear friend Sandy, who lived across the street, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Barton Boulevard, was a dancer. And she had a performance, and she needed to use a tampon for the first time. So I remember reading the directions from the other side of the bathroom door, step by step. I kid you not.
That's amazing. But
This came to me today as I was thinking about, like, when did I first have these like, what kinds of conversations was I involved in with my mom or with even my friends?
yeah, 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 yes. Yeah, so yeah, absolutely, right? And I don't remember it ever being, it wasn't taboo in my house. And my mom was
Mhm.
pretty open, but there wasn't much conversation around it. It was just like, oh, well, here it is. And
Mhm.
like I said, I suffered pretty badly, but my mom didn't. So she really, I mean, she didn't really know what to do about it.
Mhm.
So, and I grew up, one of my best friends' mom owned the health food store that was in our small town. So we were kind of like the crunchy kids, like the hippie kids. So I was always really interested, like, well, what can I do? Like, I was like, oh, I'd read this little tidbit, like this might help with cramps. So I'd try this, and I just like throw these little random things at it. And I didn't really know what to do. And like, I wasn't trying things in any kind of order or any kind of structure or for any amount of time. I'd just be like, oh, well, this didn't help today, so it's not going to
Mhm.
help. Um, so, yeah. So in my case, we went to the doctor. And at how old was I? Not very old. I was probably maybe 15. It was
Mhm.
the pill to put, like, and I didn't need to be on the pill for any other reason other than, well, this will fix your pain, this will help with your acne.
Mhm.
And like, to me, this is the biggest disservice, because this actually shuts down the cycle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I always like to say this with a bit of a disclaimer, I'm not against the pill. Like, I think, it serves its purpose, but it's not there to fix cycles.
Mhm.
It's a band-aid at the best. And it's just one of those things that it's like, it's just thrown out at girls, and we don't realize, like, we're not even really told about all the different side effects that it could cause, let alone the fact that it's completely shutting down our reproductive system.
Mm.
And yeah. And I recently had a friend who had some blood clots in her lungs. She was, because of being on the pill, was like hospitalized for, quite a long time. And she was as an adult, and she wasn't really given given those heads up either. Like it's in the pamphlet, but the doctors just give it out so quickly that it's, we don't even think about it. It's like, yeah, everybody else is on it, so why not? Especially as young girls. But yeah, so that was my experience. Like it was painful, so let's just shut it down. Which there was so much that I could have done because I had the interest there to take care of it a different way, but I just was never given the tools.
Yeah, that's it, Mandy. I mean, you recognize this is not, something's going on here. You sought, some guidance, and that's where you were led, right? But it's brought you to this place now where it's become really a mission for you.
Oh yeah, yeah. It has, yeah, because I just see it over and over again. And I see it a lot with especially when I'm massaging, because these conversations always come up between, I'll have a mom on my table, or, even a woman who's in her 20s, and she's like, oh my goodness, like my periods are awful. Like I have this, I have this, I have this. And the conversations just happen. Like they just, yeah. It's like this needs to be common knowledge for girls. So yeah, so this weekend I'm running a workshop at the Light Cellar in Calgary, which is a cycle health for teens workshop. So it's workshop / mini retreat. So it'll be a lot of fun, a lot of interaction as well. Yeah, I just really want to get that word out there and teach them about the different things that they can do to troubleshoot. If they do decide to use oral contraceptives, these are some of the supplements that you might want to take to help mitigate some of these side effects. But just give them, like, what they can do nutritionally to help have better periods, less pain, better skin, all the things that concern them, right? They're like have better moods because, they're going to be more stable throughout the month and know how to take care of those different phases. So just really about, empowering them with that knowledge and giving them that body sovereignty at age. Because that, to me, was something that I realized actually in the last few years, that because I learned, so I had to learn it at a younger age, and I had to take my health into my own hands to be able to heal my gut, my digestive system, my hormones. I really was able to get in tune with my body. And I was able to make decisions around my health, my family's health, our own body autonomy, because I trusted that. I had that deep knowing of my own body and how I felt about things.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Like you said, you call it a deep knowing. And it's hard to really explain that. It's just this sense, this trust that you had in the work you put into connecting with yourself, your body, your mind, your spirit, everything. Mandy, when I think of you, I think holistically. Everything is integrated, right? And you have devoted your time and energy to nurturing all aspects.
Yes.
And so what I love is that you're giving the message that, it's not too late. Let's start empowering young girls, but it doesn't matter how old we are as women, we can still, there's the opportunity there.
Yeah. Like you could be my age or older, like, you could be at the end of your cycling years and there's still so much you can do. And even if you learn that that's going to get passed on. Like, even if you don't have kids, like you've got other girls in your life, like, right, you're an aunt, or your friends have kids. It's just these nuggets of wisdom that you can pass on.
Yeah.
And it's only going to make your life better, easier, um, more flowy, I guess is another word. It's only going to make that transition for yourself easier, and then you can pass that along, and it's just going to continue to grow and to ripple. And like you said, that deep knowing, that deep trust in yourself and your body. It's not so. It takes a while. Like, it's not something. It's something that needs to be cultivated. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, the younger we can start, and even if we're not young when we start, we can pass that on.
Absolutely. This is all about being able to advocate for yourself in the end,
Yes.
right? Being able to have the knowledge, the skills, the supports to be able to make informed decisions about your health, your overall
Yeah.
well-being. What age, no matter what stage, it's a skill that we continue to cultivate
Mm-hmm.
and develop and strengthen. I mean, that's the
Yes.
challenge, to be able to do that. And you are tapping into that, Mandy. And I just love it. As a former, I'm an educator at heart, but working in the elementary school system with kindergarten to grade 8, there was that 6, 7, and 8 age where your daughter is right around that now. Oh, that's such a key time in sparking the interest, in opening the door. So my question is, like, how do these conversations that, kids might not be having with their moms, for example, what tips do you have to give on even being able to leave from our talk and go and maybe have a conversation with your daughter or your niece about, yeah, this very thing?
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, it's definitely something that can be a little tricky if you don't have that foundation already. So what I would suggest, if you have younger kids, start earlier. Like,
Yeah.
just start having the conversation, and an age appropriate way, of course, but like, just don't hide things from them. Like, I remember my daughter being little, and I've used a menstrual cup for years, and she would just be in the bathroom with me and like see things, and we just like, oh yeah, this is just what happens every month, and it's not scary. This is just like where the baby would grow if there was a baby, but there's not. So this is what it just has to leave your body so that you can build a fresh one. So little things like that when they're young. And then, yeah, I guess just asking questions when they're like, so if they're a little bit older, how, what types of products do you think you might like to have if they haven't started their periods yet? Like, there are so many different options right now, and I always try to steer moms and girls away from the conventional products that are bleached or scented, things like that, because they can actually cause more painful periods, more hormonal dysregulation because of the chemicals that are in them. So, but we have all these other fantastic options now. So, like, hey, like, let's look together. These are some different options. What might you be interested in trying when it starts? Or, if it's already started, like, what are some options that might be comfortable for you? What are things you might like to try? So, maybe sitting down and going online together and doing a little bit of research. Something that you can do if your daughter hasn't started her period yet and you want to kind of get her a little bit more excited about it is you build a little kit together, like preparedness kit. So be
Yeah.
prepared in all different ways, but just, yeah, a little Ziploc bag or a little wet bag, and toss it in her backpack so that she's ready to go. And it could have like different, it doesn't have to be just a pad or an extra pair of underwear. It could be, maybe a little essential oil roller ball that's going to be comforting or nice for her, or yeah, just something that whatever she feels prepared for. Like I give a lot of ideas, and I recently taught a mother-daughter tween program. So I gave a lot of different ideas of different kits you could have. Ask her if she wants to celebrate.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's like the red tent thing, which some of you may be familiar with, but you don't have to go that far. I've asked my daughter, hey, what would you want to do? She's like, I just want to kind of like go for ice cream and watch a movie. And I was like, okay,
Mhm.
that's what we'll do. But yeah, just ask her if she wants to celebrate. If she's already cycling, just talk to her about the different phases, or read about them together, or join a mother-daughter program. This is something I think I'm gonna develop very soon here, because I think there's a big need for it,
Mhm.
where they're educated together but separately,
Yeah.
so that
I
they
like
both feel comfortable. Um, yeah, I mean, so there are different things that, different conversations that you can have. But yeah, just ask her about things like, do your friends have their periods? Do they talk about it? Do they have, especially if they're at that age that most of their friends do, or you think a lot of them do, like, do
Mhm.
they talk about it? Do they not? Like, what's the whole vibe around it? And like, if most of them, for most of them it's dread, then
Yeah.
you can try to put that different spin on it. Well, there are these different phases, and yes, it's normal to feel a little bit like tired, maybe a bit run down before your period or when it starts. Like, you want to just be cozy, you want to wrap yourself in a blanket, you want to snuggle up with a book and a hot water bottle. I was like, that's actually what you should be doing. Like, that's normal. So you need a little bit more self-care then. So it's okay. And yeah, yeah. And just encourage her to talk about if she is having pain, or if she is having, um, you know, symptoms, like if you notice that she's having a lot of mood issues, things like that.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I would encourage her to maybe start a really simple chart. So start
Yeah.
charting those symptoms, like, and then, hey, have you noticed that you feel really sad here? Or
Yeah.
you feel like, oh, have you noticed that you get these pimples here?
Yeah.
Things like that. Like, you can just have her chart and just have her get to know her body a little bit more. I think just
Mhm.
bringing some awareness instead of such a direct conversation about it, especially if you haven't had that dialogue going already.
Yeah.
Again, and yeah, starting as much as you can when they're younger, but if you haven't, just bringing that awareness to her and giving her those tools. And if you can
Yeah.
give her that, it's going to start to click.
Yeah. Mandy, I love this progression. Just be backing things up a bit, because there are a lot, like I said, I don't have kids of my own, but I feel like everyone's kids are my kids in so many ways, but having those kinds of conversations with whether it was students or whomever, coming at it this way to raise awareness of their bodies, is, I think, it's a gentle approach, but that's, I think, the key to building self-awareness. And self-awareness, I look at what you're doing, I think of how it transcends everything. You're bringing in thoughts, right? Awareness of our thoughts that we attach to our cycles, fear, dread. But the way you've now reframed and you're helping girls and women to reframe is such a powerful strategy to be able to say, like, says who that this is going to hurt and I should be just like, just staying in my home, not going out, instead of embracing what is actually happening. That shift can be so huge in life, to be able to shift out of those fear-based thoughts and beliefs,
Yeah,
right?
100%. And just giving them the tools, like, hey, because sometimes, it takes girls a long time to regulate. Puberty it can take 10 years for a girl's cycle to start to really regulate. So
Yeah.
knowing that it can be all over the place. It might be painful sometimes, like it might be, but like, here, this is what you can do. You can use this, you can try this. With your moods, or if you're stressed out, anxiety, I teach them a little bit of tapping, uh,
Ah,
so that they have that tool. Like, go hide in the bathroom at school and start to tap. And, it's such a powerful, easy thing that they can do anywhere,
yes.
um, to help to regulate. So,
Mhm.
yeah. And then just even the nutrition piece can be hard with teens because
Yeah.
they're, wanting to eat especially when they're out with their friends, right? And you can't control everything that they put in their mouth. Like, it's just like, no, it's not happening. Um, but just even them knowing, like, hey, if you make sure you're getting some good protein at your meals, like, just try it and see how you're going to feel.
Yes.
Um, just little things like that, or like, just giving them the basic principles. And then, they're not going to do it all the time,
Yeah.
but at least if they know, then they can see the difference. They can
Yeah.
try it, or they're like, man, my skin has been like, skin is a really good one with teens, because when their skin gets bad, it's a self-conscious thing, right? So they're motivated then. Or,
Yeah.
if they're going through a lot of pain too, that can be a big one. But just like, hey, I really want to do something about this. I don't like it. So that they have there, at least, so, maybe I'll give this thing a try that my mom was talking about, or that, we learned in this program together. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and Mandy, it's this band-aid solution that we're in this society so fixed on, that we began our conversation with automatically, okay, birth control. You're just backing up, looking at the signs. I love the suggestions, the tools for
Mhm.
tracking, so concrete that will just open the doors to better body understanding, but also these are such great conversations between moms, daughters, and women.
Yeah.
Women. I was having one of these with my good friend last night, the same, and we were talking about, what it was like in perimenopause and her experience. Mine was very different.
Mhm.
So I think, Mandy, you are just a reservoir of knowledge, of tools. How can people connect with you? Because it's so easy for people to just say, okay, well, maybe their interest is there, but then maybe they'll go online and just be overwhelmed. These moms, for example, there's just so much. So how can these women connect with you?
Well, thanks for asking, Annalisa. No, yes, I would love to help any any moms, daughters, girls, in this, that are going through these types of things. Well, I'm most active on Instagram right now. Yeah, I don't do a lot on I do have a Facebook presence, but I don't do as much on there. Um, but yeah, Instagram at Mandy Leblanc Wellness. Um, my website is getting rebuilt. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a mess right now, so don't go there.
Okay.
It's pretty outdated at this point. But yeah, just connect with me on Instagram. If you're watching here on Instagram, you're on Instagram. You can connect with me there. I have, well, like I said, I'm doing a live workshop for girls at the Light Cellar in Calgary. So if anyone feels like this could help your any teenage girls in your life, and you're in the Calgary or Banff Canmore kind of area, and you want to drive into Calgary for the afternoon on Sunday, sorry. I'd love to see you there. You can just register through the Light Cellars website. They're taking care of all the registration for that. If you have tweens, I'm going to run like that kind of that 8 to 13-year-olds age, like kind of almost before they're cycling, or if they've just started. I will run Empowered Girl again coming up here pretty soon. I think I might run that for February. Just have to solidify some dates for that. I don't want to run it when the kids are off school, because people are out and about doing things. Yes, and I do have a cyclical alchemy program as well. That's for any woman really who's in her cycling years, which will run again in the spring.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, and then this new mother-daughter, you'll see more about that coming up because it's happening.
That's awesome, Mandy.
And
Yeah.
of
So,
course, one on like if you have deeper concerns about your hormones as well or your daughter's hormones, I'm happy to do one-on-one as well, and we can dive a little bit deeper, talk about things like testing, like what to ask your doctor for. If you can't get it through your doctor, I can help you out with that as well. As far as looking at different hormone blood tests, because typically they're not going to test you for very much when you just go in and ask at the doctor. Um, Again, same if you're like in perimenopause, like, good luck getting a full thyroid panel just from your GP. But I can help you with that. And if you can't get it, I can tell you what to ask for. And if you still can't get it, then there are ways that we can work together to get that too. And in other hormone testing and stuff too. But yeah, so, oh, my cat's gonna knock this phone.
oh,
Come here, you. Likes to be present.
of course.
So yeah, those are the main ways. Like I said, there's lots right now, lots of possibility, and yeah, just connect with me here on Instagram, and
Yeah,
I'd love to have a conversation.
that's awesome, Mandy, because, I'm thinking maybe there might be a mom that is potentially wanting to have a conversation with you and her daughter present at the same time. Would you maybe even consider situations like that potentially?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. If the daughter is game, then mom and daughter together, that can be an awesome experience because like that's what I did with the tweens, and it was fantastic. But again, sometimes in the teenage years, she doesn't always want to, so I can do the kind of be a liaison as well, of like communicate with her and then communicate. So this is what we talked about, mom, and this is how you can support her. But yeah, I mean, if she's game if she wants to have a conversation all together, then absolutely.
Awesome. Mandy, you just opened the door. So many possibilities, right? That women can step into fearlessly, right? Like this is exciting. When listening to you speak and share, and what I know is it excites me, which is not necessarily the feeling someone would have about talking about our
I
cycles.
get excited too. I love it. Whenever I speak at a retreat, people are like, I'm such a dork when I talk about this because I'm up there and I'm like jumping around and I'm sweaty and but I love it.
That's it, Mandy. And, just for people, for the women, even if there are men who have joined us, to be aware of what you have coming up, this empowered girl. Could you just give us a quick little snippet of what that's about, just in
Yes.
case people are interested potentially?
Yeah, for sure. Empowered Girl that was the program that I ran it recently. I guess I ran it back in the fall. That was the mother-daughter tween program. So
Right.
yeah, so that's a 4-week program. Um, I might extend it a little bit so that we have a little bit more time in between the calls. I'm just going to play around with that because that was the first time I ran it. It was awesome, like really good feedback from that. But yeah, so that's the mother-daughter tween program, that 8 to 13-year-old kind of age range. I usually leave, discretion is up to moms whether if their daughters want to join or not. Like if they're 7 and you think they're going to start their period soon, then they're more than welcome to be there. But yeah, so that's the tween program, Empowered Girl. And then the cyclical alchemy is that's a 3-month program, which is for basically any woman in her cycling years. It could be from a teen who's cycling right up to perimenopause. It's just we do a deep dive into the cycle, and well, there's so much, and like I won't get into all that right now because there's a lot that we get into, but yeah.
Awesome. And Mandy, I will include the links when I share this conversation. I will include the links that we talked about. And that invitation to anyone who's listening is to connect with Mandy. She's so approachable. I mean, and so passionate about women's health, about sovereignty, about just taking responsibility of these gifts, owning them, getting to know our bodies, so that really we can go out there and shine as we're meant to.
Yeah.
And stand in our light, no matter what cycle we're in or what's happening in the world around us. But it's that sense, Mandy, that you're normalizing this. This is a life experience, and by doing that, you're helping to, just demystify and empower women and girls. So I thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything you want to add here, Mandy, that's crossed your mind as we're talking, and a message that you want to leave us with?
No, I feel like we have a pretty complete conversation. um, no, yeah, it's just about really, yeah, like as you said, I love that word empower.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just that's what it's about. It's about giving women and girls the tools to feel empowered in their own body, to make decisions that feel right to them, regardless of what they're being told from their doctor or from their, you know, other health professionals, or from me even. Like, take what I like. If you don't like what I've, the techniques I've given you, you don't have to use them. But I want you to be empowered to listen to your body, to know what's going to be right for you. Like, yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Oh, Mandy, I know we've been on a little longer than anticipated, but we could go on and on about these things that are dear and near to our hearts. And I am so grateful that you've joined us, getting this message out. And I encourage, all of you, anyone listening, please share. Feel free to share this conversation. Knowledge truly is power. And, thinking about our future and future generations, the impact we can have now on what the future is going to look like. It's there, and it's in our hands, really. So let's do something with it.
Exactly. The girls are our future, so.
Absolutely. Yeah. Fantastic. Well, thanks again for joining, and I wish you a beautiful remainder of your day. Everyone, thank you, friends, and have a wonderful upcoming weekend. I feel like I'll see you out there somewhere, Mandy, on the trails. We've got...
I know, it's getting nice, so
Yeah.
can't wait. All right. Thank you so much, Annalisa.
Okay. And ciao, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks, Mandy.